Hey, how you doing? This is Steve. I'm going to make a little video on how to change the suspension on an ice Sprint Trike from normal suspension, which is none, to front suspension. And I'll show you how you do this. I already done it, but I can show you the points that you need to take step by step that you'll have to do to change the suspension to suspension. So here we go. Now this is my baby right here. It's a 2011 Ice Sprint with rear suspension. Didn't have any front suspension whatsoever, but I broke loose of the money and just the other day decided to go ahead and buy it and order it from Sprint in England and give it a shot. So let's go ahead and start. So what I did here was, I don't have a bike stand per se, so I just use two card tables usually when I work on the bike, and I set it up there. So this is the setup we're using right now until I build me one. Then what I did was I took two car jack stands, so I can lift the jack up and put it under the cross member there, and naturally you want to cover it up with some cloth so it doesn't scratch the frame. Okay, so we're going to cover the tops of the jack up like so. And lift the bike up naturally with the back wheel locked. We got one side. And the other side. So now in essence you can move the wheels, spin and whatever, to be able to work on them. Now this is going to look a little different since I've already got the suspension on here, so I'm going to have to show it to you as I did it. And then you want to come around to the tie rod end right here, and you want to disconnect that. The top is pulled down in, so you won't be able to turn that because is a notch in it. So loosen the screw from the bottom side and then drop this, and remember you've got a spacer right in here, and the beveled part of the spacer faces down. Once you loosen this tie rod, then what you do is you take this nut, you come here to your on the wheel totally and then you loosen your wheel this collar here. Just loosen it up, and when you get it loose, take this one off, this cap here, unscrew it. I believe it's 6mm. Take it off, and then you can take this collar off. Put your hand under the Kingpin so it doesn't fall out and drop, and what you do is you pull this off. There will be this black ring here also is a separate piece. Get your fingernail under it and pull it up and take it off. Underneath there will be a silver collar, flat side up. At that point you can drop your Kingpin out, and then you can hopefully, if yours was like mine, when I dropped the old Kingpin out, all the bearings and seals stayed up inside the cup. So if not, look on the directions on the website for ice for putting on suspension. It'll show you a diagram of which way the bearing cartridge goes and everything else. So at this point we can start putting on the new Kingpin. Now, like I told you before, when you take the tie rod end off, or the tie rod loose, this top piece has got a little notch in it, so it's stuck in there. You can't back it out with an Allen wrench. So what you do is, once you drop your piece out here, I went ahead, and since it was still stuck in this part right here, I screwed the bottom part on, stuck it upside down into a socket, and tapped it out. Okay. Also, on this piece here, the old one, this center bolt, or center hole here, you'll also have a pin that what it does is it holds the let's see if I can see it here. It holds on the inside of the brake drum. Oops. And it's this piece right here. There's a notch down in the bottom that pin goes through and holds it in alignment on the Kingpin. So pay attention to that too. And this is the old Kingpin. It feels like it's made out of plastic, but it's aluminum. The new one, if you're wanting to know what the weight differences are, I don't know what the old one weighs, but I did take the new one up to the post office and weighed it on their scale. And each side you're adding, well, minus what the old one is, but the new part weighs 1 pound, 8.4 ounces. So that's per side. Also watch too, when you take the old Kingpin out, like I say, the old parts may fall out of the bottom part of the Kingpin, the seal, the cartridge, and you may watch, even if it doesn't, right along the bottom of this old Kingpin, there's a seal there, so make sure that you put that back in. Now once you're ready to stick the Kingpin back up, it's just a matter of shoving it up in, and what you'll do is, in reverse order, you'll go ahead and once you're holding it all the way up, you'll put this black ring back on and make sure that that silver ring is pushed down over the king post as far as it can go. It's a silver split ring with a flat face facing upward. And once you put that on, then you can go ahead and slide on your clamp here, and then you can go ahead and put on your cap here with a 6mm hex head. Now this is kind of a finesse thing to where you don't want to over tighten this, because what it's doing is it's compressing the Kingpin and bearings. So you just want it tight enough, or just hand tight enough, to where there's no play or slop in the Kingpin. So it's actually, it's pretty loose, not loose, but you know, snug. Once you get that there, then you can go ahead and tighten this clamp, and that's pretty much it. You're done with that, and then you need to come back around here and reconnect. Well, actually, you'll have to put that nut back on the pin that holds the brake bracket there. And once that's done, then you go ahead and put on your tie rod. Remember the bushing in between the tie rod and the arm of the Kingpin. And remember that there's a notch on this top part of this. So you want that piece in there. And it'll go in tight. So once you get it started, and what I had to do is I had to leave this spacer out and put the bottom of half this in until I drew it down into this piece here, and then I unscrewed it from the bottom again, and then I put the spacer back in. And remember, the spacer goes with the bevel part down against the tie rod, and then go ahead and tighten that up. Do the same on the other side, and also when you put the Kingpin in, the instructions say in the bottom part of the Kingpin, where it goes into the bottom cup, smear a little grease around the base of the Kingpin post, and then you should be good. I didn't notice any track difference that I had to adjust the tracking. I had like 29.5 inches in the front and the back of the tire, so it seemed to be pretty consistent of what it was. So this is the new suspension, and actually I weigh 176, and I got the medium elastomers in it, and I really don't see any bounce to it. So what I'm going to do is when I order them, I had them send me some soft elastomers too. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and change the ones that's in there out for the soft ones, and see how we go. But everybody I've talked to that's spent the money on the Switch has not been disappointed. They've been glad they done it, and I hope I am too. I'm sure I will. Ice is a good product, and I really love this trike. I put many miles on it, and I've had it about a year. So hopefully this video helps you. I didn't take you through from the beginning to the end because I was too anxious to get them in last night that I didn't think of videotaping, and there's not many ice videos out there on instructing you how to do stuff. So hopefully this helped you, and if I can, maybe I'll make another one on changing the elastomers. Talk to you later.